Hello, hello. Just going live here. Took me a little bit longer than I thought coming from Beatles broadcast, but had some stuff to do and getting set up for our head-to-head matchup. We haven't done one in a couple months, so thought I'd walk some people through some tips on head-to-head, and definitely want to have all the window dressing for the game tomorrow. So I went ahead and made sure I had photos for all the players on the decade franchise teams we're going to play. So we're doing a game. Beatles has chosen his Pittsburgh Pirate franchise from the 60s, which is, I think I've got it at 30-man rosters. I've eliminated some of them down to 30. So we've got 30 Pirates from the 60s based on their best season. And I'm taking the 70s Tigers. So he probably has a slight edge in one loss in that decade. Tigers had some not so great years in the 70s, but I'm going to have fun with that team from my childhood anyway. Spent some time getting some of the ballpark images I want to use enhanced. I upscaled them through some different free sites and software and so on, and just got a couple different images to try out. So I want to see how those are going to look in the game, and maybe I'll take it for a little spin, see how it looks, so that when we play tomorrow, we're all set up with. When I broadcast, I've got the photos. I've also got the manager photos in there, got the logos from those decades, and then also did the away and home uniforms. Another thing I did was set up a 7-game schedule, just like if it was a World Series. So that way, if we want to play a game or two tomorrow and then pick it up later and just do a best of 7 teams, it can be fun. So I've gone ahead and built a schedule out, and we'll kick it off tomorrow. So looking forward to it. And again, last night we did some tips and tricks and walkthrough on action. I know Beatles has done some of that himself as well. But just thought I would go through, what I did to set this up. And what I did is I went right up to utilities and just created a blank league, imported the teams I wanted from the files that I had, file that we can play head to head from. Because one thing that I did notice is to get the photos to display correctly, using the same file works much better. Meaning, I'll just create a file for our head-to-head, bring the teams into that, so all the teams are sitting on one file. So you can see I've got Pittsburgh from the 60s, and we can take a look at their roster. That's their average one-loss record in the 60s. So you can see they're definitely above a 500 team here. Got the 60s logo in there. I'm using a photo for the ballpark that I got from a Forbes Field out of MLB 23, MLB The Show 23. I like that one, even though there's no grandstands. This is like a 1910s era. I've got that as an option. I have another one that I've run through some enhancers to that I like. For Detroit, I've got this photo and another one that I've used in the past. It's a little bit, it's a canted view a little bit, and that only works well if I use 3/4 screen, so it gives me a couple of options. So you can see I've got the photo packs here ready to go. Modified the teams right here by hunting down the logo, brought in my manager file. I've downloaded these, gosh, I don't know where I've had them for years, some of the road and home uniforms, but it dresses the game up. Added the nicknames in there. Teams set in 1979 Briggs Stadium. And you can see here, if we just go by position for the 70s here, I've got Freehand, Parrish, and Walkenfuss at catcher. First baseman, I've got Norm Cash on this team and Jason Thompson. Second base, not that strong. I got an aging Dick McAuliffe, not great in the field, right? And Gary Sutherland. Third base, I got Aurelio Rodriguez, great fielder in Brinkman with a weak bat. Left fielders, I've got Steve Kemp and Jim Northrup that can play. Northrup can play any outfield position. Got Mickey Stanley, Gold Glover in center field, but also Ron LaFleur. Right field, we got Ben Ogilvy again, can play over there. Northrup, Al Kaline, of course, Rusty Staub, and Steve Kemp can go in left or right field. So this should be fun. Willie Horton, pretty much a DH here in the 70s. You know, he can play some spot left field if he has to. So I'll be looking forward to this. Pitching staff, not the greatest. I mean, I've got Mark the Bird Fidrich there and Mickey Lolich from that great season, Joe Coleman. After that, there's quite a drop-off when it comes to starting pitching. John Hiller's a great reliever. And let's take a look at Pittsburgh in the 60s. Their pitching staff, pretty good. You got Bob Veal, Bob Friend. There's a lot of options they have. Vern Law, Steve Blass. And they've got Harvey Haddix and Joe Gibbon there. So in relief, pretty much Moose, Walker, and Face. Maybe Al McBean and Earl Francis, kind of long relief. And batters for the 60 Pirates. Let's take a look. Catcher, Jerry May, Pagliarone, Smokey Burgess. First base, they've got Cledendon and Willie Stargell. Of course, can play first or go out to left field. Dick Stewart, Dr. Strangeglove. Mazeroski, Gold Glover at second. Third base, they've got Don Hoke, or how about Beetle Bob Bailey is there as well. Shortstop, Gene Alley, Dick Schofield as the backup. Left field, they got Carl Taylor, Bob Skinner, Lynch. Stargell can even play left. Manny Mota can play all of these outfield positions. And in center, Bill Verdon, who would later manage the Pirates. And we have, again, Manny Mota, all positions. In the right field, you've got the Gold Glover and Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente. So should be some fun here in picking some lineups. And again, I went in and just set up, since we're going to have this head-to-head match, I just went in here under organized schedule, set up starting on September 1st, and I just created, you can see right here, Pittsburgh at Detroit, the first and second. The third was an off day. Then Detroit goes at Pittsburgh for 2 in a row, another off day, the third one in Pittsburgh, then a travel day, and then the final 2, if needed, back in Detroit. So basically set this up like a World Series. And I'm sure Beatles will be fine with it. We don't have to play them all tomorrow, but we can get a couple games in tomorrow for sure and see who can get the best of 4 out of 7 with this matchup. So looking forward to it. I think if there's anything else I'm going to highlight. So let me fire up. Let's take a look at what do an exhibition at Detroit so we can take a look at the field setup. And I'm just going to let the computer pick the stuff and get on into the game. Here we are. Go full screen on this one. I like this layout. However, if I go over to my other preferences, and for park image, if I pick my alternate one, you can see it's a little bit different. It blocks things over here. So instead of moving all this stuff around, one thing I can do is I can just go right up in here under quick and go right to 3/4 screen. So what I've got set up here is I'll probably play with this field in the 3/4 screen image. I like how this looks. You can see some of the game action here. As it announced the pregame stuff. Fly out to Stanley. But again, I've got all the stuff in here to have a nice series. It should look good in a broadcast. The photos are there. Got the uniforms that are showing up here, the period specific logos as well. See some of the gameplay here. Looks like it's going to head out to the outfield. It's Steve Kemper. Oh, he's backing up Rodriguez, who makes the catch. And there's a walk. So again, when you're playing the game, you can always go back and forth. I'm going to go back and check the other stadium. Looks a little bit different during gameplay. These are the two I'll use when I broadcast for Detroit. You can see this is what it looks like in 3/4. And now I'll just close out and let's fire up an exhibition at Forbes, and I'll show you the two ballpark images I'm using. This came out of MLB The Show 23, and it's 1910s or earlier, but I just like the look of it, so I put this as one of my options for when I broadcast. So let's hit that. Play ball. And here it is in 3/4. I have no idea. Let's check that parlay out. Oh, yeah. That's a problem if I got first base over there. That's why it looked kind of goofy. If you ever see any weird things going on, definitely check your markers. And it'll take a while for that to reset. So now we can go over here and go back to full screen. And this, with the layout being straight on, lends itself to full screen. There's Steve Kemp with a hit out to right field. Hey, Beatles! I'm giving you a little demonstration here of, I'm looking at the rosters and the two fields for Forbes and the two fields for Detroit that I'm going to use in our head-to-head when we kick this off tomorrow, and just kind of playing back and forth between 3/4 and full screen. I've got this old Forbes, like from the 1910s, that I like. Another one I just enhanced. Let me see how this looks. That I've got for Forbes is one that I just ran through some enhancers. That's a little crazy, but let's go to 3/4 and see how that'll look. There we go. So we can run that down on 3/4. A little bit different look at Forbes here. A little more painted look. And I'm just checking those out. So when I'm ready to broadcast, I'm ready to go. So I'll show the teams off to you. Beatles, while you're here, you can take a look at them. And let me show you what I did. I organized the schedule. So however many games we play tomorrow, we don't have to play them all, but I set up starting September 1st just like a World Series. You can see Pittsburgh goes to Detroit 2 games in a row. Travel day, then we go to Pittsburgh 2 games in a row, a day off, 3rd game in Pittsburgh, travel day, and then 2 games if needed, game 6 or 7. And I thought, hey, let's just set this up like it's a World Series and see who gets to 4 games. And if we play a couple tomorrow, great, and then we can let it sit. And next time we have time, we can just fire it up and knock this series out. Maybe a fun way to approach that. And then the next time, maybe we do something with a couple different teams, like the Cardinals, and pick a decade. So I'm going to pull up the roster that I've got here. I think there was 32 or 34. I dwindled it down to 30 per team. I'll just cycle it this way, position by position. That way you can see the catchers. Jerry May, Pagliarone, Smokey Burgess, really good hitting lefty catcher there. First base, Cledendon, that would go on to the Mets, right? Stargell can play first or left. Dick Stewart, Second baseman, I think I know who's starting. Probably Mazeroski, right? You got Hoke and Beetle Bob Bailey at third. Shortstop, you got Gene Alley. Left field, Carl Taylor, who I completely forgot about. Look at this, 348 average in about 2/3 playing time. Bob Skinner. Bill Verdon in center as a 9, and then over in right, Clemente. So definitely a pretty cool team. I went ahead and added the window dressing too. If you notice, I've got the period-specific logos. I did the home and away uniforms, and I put in manager photos too, so it'll look good in the broadcast. If you look, this 1960s, I think that's the average record during the 60s, 85 and 77. And you'll notice I'm a few games lower than you because I'm going to take the 70s Tigers that I grew up watching. Definitely not the best decade for them, but I'm going to have fun with it. So if we look at that team, you can see here catchers, Bill Freehand, Lance Parrish, still a young Lance Parrish there. Got Norm Cash and Jason Thompson at first. Not too strong at second base with McAuliffe and Gary Sutherland. Third base, Rodriguez, great glove. And then Eddie Brinkman, great glove at short and a horrible weak hitter. Outfielders, I've got Northrop that can play all over. Steve Kemp. Got Mickey Stanley, a gold glover, but how about Ron LaFleur? Twinkle Toes Bosco, as they called him right there. And in right field, a few options too with Al Kaline, an aging Al Kaline, and a not so young Rusty Staub on that team. Pitching staff. I've got Mark Fidrich, I got Lolich and Coleman, so those probably really the 3 best pitchers along with John Hiller in relief. And if we look at your team, we've got a lot more starting depth for sure with this team. Al McBean, Harvey Haddix, Earl Francis. So we've got some players here. A little better team ERA for, yeah, it should be a real interesting matchup of teams. So if we look at an exhibition, let's go to Detroit. I was showing this a little earlier, just looking at the stadiums. I have this stadium. Let me get it up here.
Play ball!
So got it in 3/4 here. And the other stadium I've got, I really like this. Probably one of my favorite pictures of Tiger Stadium is this one that I've used a lot. But because it's at an angle, it lends itself really to 3/4. If I put it on full screen, a lot of the boxes get blocked out. So see how this game plays out. Uh-oh, Allie's starting off with a hit. So what I may do is let me zoom this 7th inning, and maybe I'll play this out just to test everything out. Ooh, we got a close one. Now I'm interested. Let's see if I can take the helm here, and I will turn it over the computer to Pittsburgh here. Let's see if I can get a comeback win here with 2 innings to go. Like Lolich is only under 100 pitches. A little grounder. Like having Rodriguez over there. So we can get out of this inning and get the bats up there and come from behind. Stanley, good range, gets it. And here's Clemente. What's he done on the day? Well, he's got a double. And now he's got a single. He sends a liner into right. Bob Skinner, 0 for 3 on the day. Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And all right, now here we go. See what I've got coming up here in the lineup. We've got Vern Law in. I got a couple lefties coming up with Kemp and Thompson. Let me see what I got on the bench. Got Norm Cash and Rusty Staub. Kaline, LaFleur, Horton. I've got a lot of good hitters that I can use if I need to. Curveball. And Kemp hits this one high in the air. Mazeroski with the catch. One away. Jason Thompson. And he's aboard. Now, what do I do here? Let's get Ron LaFleur in there. He pitched out. LaFleur is off and running. And there won't even be a throw. So I got him down in scoring position here for Bill Freehand. It's a pitch. And Freehand sends this one out to left field. Off the wall. We got a tie game. Hey, Bernard, thanks for showing up. I'm just testing out the files. I got all the pictures in and some of the images so that we're all ready to go tomorrow. And I do have chores to go out and do, but I thought I'd take a few minutes here and just come on and highlight the teams that we're going to do head-to-head in our series. And I zoomed this game to the 7th. I was down 1. Now I'm seeing if I can come back with my Tigers. So here's Ben Ogilvy. Let's see who we got. Let Ogilvy hit. There's the pitch from Law. Ogilvy with a liner right to Clemente, and that's the third. No. 2 down for Ed Brinkman. Trying to think who else can play shortstop if I pinched it for Brinkman. Now McAuliffe. We'll let Brinkman hit. I need his glove. Oh, he comes through. Ed Brinkman, not known for his bat, is going to try to hoof this out for a triple, and he does. I hope this is a sign of things to come. Oh, you're welcome, Bernard. I mean, have some fun with it. So here's Mickey Stanley. Let's see. Oh, he walks him. So I got the pitcher coming up. That's Lolich. Now let's go with Rusty Staub here as pinch hitter. Here's the pitch. I got to get Staub's picture ironed out, I can tell here. And he's out. So here we go. Who I got over at first? Put in Cash. And pitcher, let's bring in John Hiller. See if he can lock it down here for the win. Don Clendenon has flied out. And here's the catcher, Jim Pagliarone. Righty, and he draws a walk. Mazeroski coming up. Uh-oh, things are getting dicey. Come on, Hiller. Let's shut him down. Oh. right, we're down to Vern Law. And it's interesting right here that they didn't pitch hit for Vern Law. So let's do this. Let's go right here to previous play. Oh, previous plays, it's done, I guess. Anyway, had some fun with that. It's not even the right game. I guess I can't resume that one because I didn't exit it. So let's see where it's at. There we go. There we go. Now I can back it up. Now let's bring Hiller. I'm going to go back and replay that ninth and see if it gets to the pitcher and find out why they didn't give him another chance to win this game or come back here. Pagliarone's on. Mazeroski. Ooh, Ogilvie makes a great play. Let me see what it looks like on the bench. See what it looks like in the. Oh yeah, Verdon's there 15%, but they've got righty on lefty. They ought to probably bring in Dick Stewart here, or Manny Mota. There you go. Hey, it's a 3-2 comeback for Detroit. Anyways, I'm yeah, hey Arnold. Yeah, that someone was me who said it was never meant to be played. Let me show you why. You could, but I would caution on. I think it's used as a resource. So let me show you what I mean. I've got two. I've got one for the NL. Let's pull up the NL. Here's National League. The reason I say that is there's so many teams it doesn't make sense for a baseball league, right? So how many have I got? Look at all the teams that are in, and I just broke them down by category. This doesn't lend itself to be a league. So what would I do? I would create a blank league. I would set it up with, I don't know, however many teams you wanted, maybe, 5 in each division, 6 times 4, 24 or whatever, and I'd drag those 24 teams in, and then I would find a season that has a template, a schedule that matches it, and apply that, or create one, because there's no built-in schedule for this, and the way that I have them broken down, they're not even in balanced divisions. So it wouldn't make sense out of the box for this thing to just fire it up and go and play games, because if you go look at it, unlike a season that you buy, if we look at the schedule, organized schedule, there is none. No games in here yet. Now, I could go and copy from a current season and drop it over here and overwrite it and have it match up, but I have to make sure that the slots that I have right here are the exact slots from that season. In other words, physically, it would mimic whatever slots they were. So this isn't set up to go out of the box. I would probably just create a model league, set it up with however you want, right? You create a blank league and then import teams from this 5-year file. That's what I would do. I'd use the 5-year files as a resource, because then you could go import, for example, you could do this. Let's do create a new blank league. We'll call it import test. So here we are. Got rosters. Now we want to create some or import teams. So let's do that. So I could go to my 5-year AL file, and I could just say, okay, I'll bring in 4 teams. And when you're coming in here, you can drag them too. So I got all 4 teams right there. And then I could say, let's import teams from the NL file and pick 4, import them, and then you could choose where they go. You can see it's going to put them right after the other ones, but I can grab this and put them in another division. I can just grab these and drag them right here, exit, exit, and now they sit right next to it. So this is what I would do. I would, if you want to play a league, you can come in here and set that up. You could even have it run the auto scheduler. I don't really use it. I always find a season I have that has the same amount of teams, and then I go to it. I'll tell you what, I can show you right here. Let's look at a season. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let's go to 1969, probably is a good one. So here's what we can do. 1969. What the heck is going on with 69? Well, I don't know why 69 is not loading. Go to 68. There we go, 68. So if you look at the rosters, you see how you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you were going to set up a 20-team league, I would set it up, even if you created your own teams, just like this physically. So if you see the physical slots, 10 teams here, 10 teams here, you could go to your model league. So let's do that. And I'll show you how to do this. Import test, rosters. And you saw how we had, we're going to move teams. And I think it's League 2. One, two, three, four. There we go. Oh, wrong one. I'm all over the place with this one. Oh, here we go. So let's go here. We got those 4 there. These have to be moved. Move one there. Move the other ones down here with this one. You just drag them and drop them. Cleveland's move it down there. And Oakland, move it down here. So now I've got them lined up in the same slots that team would be. So let's bring some other teams in so that it equals 10. And let's go to my 5-year franchise. And we can bring in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Import teams. Yes. Where am I going to put them? Right here. I don't know if anybody's ever messed with this when you do imports. The whole idea is moving them around so it mimics the one that you're going to get the schedule from. So now we've got 10 over there. Then I'm going to go bring 6 more teams in. Let's go to the other 5-year franchise file, NL. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, import. And those 6 that I just brought in right here, okay, those are all. So I'm going to drag those all the way down. A little tedious, but you can move them around to where you want them. And it's really important, and I'll show you why. Here are a lot of complaints, and I don't even use the auto schedule feature because I like to mimic the real ones. So here you go. So now I have my league, my pretend league, set up just like 1968. Okay. So let's look at this league I just created. If I go to schedule, organize schedule, I have no schedule. And you can see it's sched.skd. So watch this. Here's a little trick. So this is called import test. So now I'll go into my DK Sports folder, into my seasons, baseball, seasons, and I'm going to take 1968. Here it is. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the schedule. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go to the season that I want to copy it to. So I'm going to go to baseball seasons and import test. Right here. And I'm going to go, bam, paste it. Yes, replace it. Now, remember, 1968 had completely different team names. It doesn't care what the team names are. It automatically goes to the physical slot, the geographic slot to do it. So now check this out. Here's our import. I always close the game out when I do this and open it back up. I don't know why. I'm just kind of weird that way. So here we go. I'm going to organize schedule. And if we look, oh gosh, it only grabbed part of them. I wonder why. See, neutral park. Yeah, now I got to figure out what happened there because usually I can just drag them and drop them and they go great. Otherwise, you come in here and you can make your own series and mess around with it. But this usually overwrites well. So I'm like, what the heck happened here? Let me check the. Just taking a peek here, seeing what might have messed this up. Okay. I'm ending up with a game that doesn't matter right here. can always do this too. I know Beatles and I were going back and forth one time with the scheduler. I don't mess with it too much, but I am going to, can always go 1968. I'm going to grab the schedule, copy it. I also set up, I think, a custom schedule templates. Okay, so I've got the second one here, so I could call this call it 1968. So I've got that. Let me copy that. Let me go back to my import file. Import test. I can drop it, so now I have two schedule files I can choose from. Okay, I can see two. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm gonna have to check something out. I'm gonna have to dig deeper. I thought I was gonna give everybody a quick tip and drag those in, but I do have some. Import schedule template. I'm trying to think, where do I have these? Yes, they've got 1973 scheduled for a 24-team league. I'll have to play around some more with that because I'm trying to figure out. Usually, if you've got them in the right physical slots, they'll pick them up and drop them right in the same ones. Unless I did something wrong here. So let me see. No, they should be. They should be lined up right here. Yeah, puzzling. I will have to go back and check that one out. But that's typically what I would do is create a blank thing and then use my 5-year franchise files to just drag teams in, right? And do it that way. Gosh, I got stuff to go do, and now my brain's running. I'm like, ooh, I got to figure out. I got to spend some more time with some of the schedules. That's one thing I've got to do. The other thing you can do, and I haven't even done this either with the scheduling, is import. You could import a CSV or text schedule. Well, I guess you could export it too. Let's see. Let's just put it. Let's export the schedule and see what it looks like. Where the heck did I just put that dang thing? Ever do that? Just export it and export schedule. See what it looks like. So it's just basically, there you go. Month, day, whether it's a night or day game, and then you got the away team and the home team. Well, guess you could just go to Retro Sheet and grab a schedule just like that and maybe import it. I've never even played with that. Maybe that's going to be my next thing to do. Let's go play with schedules. So either way, more fun stuff to do. And with that, I'm going to head on out and go do some actual stuff outside. And then I'll be hanging around later, seeing who's broadcasting or playing around. And everybody keep on the lookout for head to head tomorrow against Beatles. And they did. Arnold, after 1968, they did lower the mound. So we'll see everybody down the road.